Welcome back, Five Aces.
Hey people, Five Aces here. Do the time warp, baby. We finally did it. Look at those graphics. Does that look a little remastered to you? It certainly does look remastered to me. That's right, we are in Tiberian Dawn and I finally managed to get my own replays in. That is to say, replays from the client server. And the OpenRA ladder site has been updated as well to support the newest release. There is a couple dozen games for RA already. There is, however, a distinct lack of TD replays. As of now, only represented by one single best of 3. So for the time being, these are the best 2 players in Tiberian Dawn, period. At least according to the server, because they're the only ones who played. So, let's intro those 2 titans. They are actually, that's not sarcasm, they are top of the ladder and top of the league in Tiberian Dawn. Both of them have featured in tournaments prominently. Left hand side, spawning in a heinous purple or pink. We've got Kato, probably unrelated to the good old Roman senator who always wanted to delete Carthage. Fuck. And he is up against Nudels, the man himself, the guy who I think bested Ganem in a best of 3 in the recent TDGL, and sporting and flying the GDI colors for now. Look at those remastered graphics. This is, by the way, the maximum zoom level. I can't zoom in any further. Animations are very smooth, but I have to report that for the time being this is an experimental build of sorts. So there may be some frame rate drops or issues with the animations. Sometimes it may overload a little. For now though, it looks very good. It's looking relatively stable. Nudels taking his 2 Derricks. And also, you're gonna see some tile glitches. I'll explain why that is happening in just a hot second. Oh wow, look at those animations. Look at them sliding across the ground. It looks hilarious. Oh my lord. That actually works fairly smoothly, but I've got a monster of a computer right now, so it better be working smoothly. So the reason as to why some of the tiles are glitched is because those are tiles that are not present in the original. And as you can see, all the tiles that were present that are present in the originals have been flawlessly converted. However, there are some tiles that are not, that are just a custom OpenRA tiles, such as this one. And it's yeah, it just sticks out a little. APC from Nudels is out to deter all those Humvees, giving a little pummeling. It's obviously a little slower, so can't really catch up. Treaded vehicles versus vehicles on wheels, my friend. Ooh, gotta speed away. Gorgeous, we're gonna be exploring the map. Obviously, any sort of custom tiles are not gonna be supported, but they're just gonna be translated into the regular OpenRA style. Man, this looks bubble smooth. The timing looks wonderful. Is there an engineer? Nope. No engineer cheese is happening here. Just pummeling the harvester a little. Just giving a laugh tap, if you will. And Kato is trying to wall off, but the APC is dreaded, as we've established before, and it can thus crush fences. So this map has a blue tip blossom tree in the middle. The growth is inhibited a little bit because it is almost blocked on every side. So this is never gonna be the greatest of sources of income. First tank is already out for Kato, and it hasn't been scouted as far as I'm aware. We're gonna go back into cost division. All players, thank you very much. Nudels has a counter communication center, and the oil derrick is being taken under siege. For now, there is nothing really stopping it. Wait a sec, that's kind of hilarious. So the turret, I think, was not present in the originals, and this does. So this has got the chassis of the... Unless I'm mistaken, but this looks like it has got the chassis of the original model, and then a custom OpenRA turret. That's kind of hilarious, not gonna lie. You can see that the animation frame rates, I feel, are much higher for the originals. Much higher in the remastered graphics than the originals. Looks kind of scuffed. But overall, a really A+ effort and A+ results as well for getting this show on the road. We've got lots of rockets, lots of medium tanks. That's an armor piercing / armor bust composition. Nudels, however, has retained his 3 Humvees, so he's still got some firepower in the way of anti-infantry. Usually, traditionally, we see them mixed with grenadiers, so let's see if that's gonna come into play here. Both the oil derricks are being taken out by Kato, so Nudels appears to be a bit more defensively oriented for now. Tech center, oh yeah. That is an actually useful tech center. It is certainly not worth rushing a helicopter over, but it is worth expending an engineer and a helicopter if you're going for an air build anyway, because that provides a lot of vision and it's not that easy to snipe. Custom tile here again, as you can spot. Let's play spot the custom tiles. Yeah, most are fairly close to the original. Right, second war factory is online for Nudels, and he's also relocated a bit farther to the south. Double wall off, that's kind of smart. I like that a lot. Ooh, really lethal combination here though. No grenadiers just yet, that's only minigunners and medium tanks. This is the good old Ganon combination. The Ganon 1-2, Ganon special. Medium tanks not really in position to fight this for now. But Nudels is realigning himself. His army is trying to find the angle. Medium tanks are taking a bruising. They're starting to trickle in here. Oh, the Grenadiers though, they have arrived and they're gonna be connecting onto the rocket soldiers. This is a disaster. This is looking so good for Kato. He's gonna be able to push in completely scot-free. He hasn't lost a single tank thus far. My lord. What a slaughter. Combat tab is gonna reflect that very accurately. So Kato has a massive lead off the back of this. This was just immaculate play. Sending the tanks in, going after the right targets and having the grenadier timing, whereas his opponent was somehow, yeah, kind of skimping out on grenadiers. Always bulk up a little with grens. Little guard tower here to hold the line. Not all is lost yet for Nudels, but he is super far behind. Economy, yeah, that's exactly the 6k that he lost in the engagement. And that is basically an entire army. Hearing some more pummeling going on. Courtesy of the APC. Now finally the oil derrick is taken in revenge. And grenadiers. Oh, my lord. Look at all those grens. They're fairly cheap but so lethal in this game. Okay, the first advanced guard tower that I'm hearing has fired on us. Ah, yeah, that's the random APC getting killed off as well. This may well be a mid-grab. That's not usually what's happening on this map, because most players are going to be busy securing their corner expansions, and you're going to have a really hard time retaining this position and holding it against a competent opponent. Veterancy markers started appearing on the Humvee, so good job on that one, keeping that alive for quite a while. I'm still hearing a tank fire. Oh! That is actually the 4th derrick that the tank took away now. But crucially, Nudels has had 4 derricks for quite a while. He's on low power for the time being. That means the airstrike is not presently ready, but should be in a second, as soon as the power plant finishes. Really defensive formation. Ooh, that's an airstrike! Ooh, ho, ho, ho. Ouch. Could have been much worse. But that was a very obvious one. That was a dead giveaway that there was a push coming. I want to look at the army graph. Yeah, this is just speaking volumes. Like, the only thing left to do here is bringing it over the finish line, really. Rocket launchers are starting to fire up a little. Good old makeshift Katyushas. Okay. This is forces overwhelming. How are you ever going to push into this base? I mean, you're just going to overrun with a torrent of steel. 3rd base is being taken by Kato. He's playing it slow, methodically. He's not going to drop the ball in this game, it appears to be the case. Ooh, they have retained the custom names. Gretchen's house, Hewitt's house, the hospital. The barn, not just a barn. Advanced guard towers have started popping up here and there from Nudels, but this is a very static game, to be fair. Still gives us time to admire the graphics, so that's gonna count for something, right? Communication center, but no tier 3. I'm not too sure about this one, Chief. Explosions, by the way, look gorgeous. That is one of the features about the remaster that I really gotta commend them for. This just looks really good. Especially the explosions. Some infantry being shaved off on retreat, but that's hardly anything to really make an impact, because it was mostly inexpensive rifles, and even the grenadiers are not that expensive. 160 in the originals. Okay. Nudels has mustered enough forces for a little counter push, but that is going to be deterred very swiftly. He has started getting out on the map a little. MCV from Kato is moving forward. He also has tier 3 unlocked. There's the Advanced Communication Center. Ooh, this is gonna be a big ticket, game-winning item for him. Mammoths are starting to roll out of the factory. How many more factories are we up to? Only 2 for the time being. Yep. So relatively light on the production. Here is a counter Advanced Communication Center. How often do we see that? Tier 3 GDI mirror. It's actually more interesting to watch GDI versus not tier 3, but still. It's still pretty cool. Time to rock and roll, there's the commandos. Hell yeah. Bring it on, double commando. Ooh, he's going hard. Wait, he's building more. Let's just mass commandos, mass mammoths. So this can get overwhelmed really quickly, because the commandos, obviously, they're a one-man army, but that also means that they die as a one-man army, right? If you focus them down. They've got pretty good line of sight though, and they can take smoke breaks wherever they want. You know, they're not working in public service, they can take smoke breaks whenever. Good stuff. Also got the Kung Fu moves. Time to rock and roll. Hell yeah. Mobile rocket launchers are starting to creep forward, so one thing you can do is double tap. Here's the commandos taking pot shots at the infantry. For now, they're still staying strong. Good micro is kiting them back behind his own tank lines. So again, a very futile attempt from Nudels at pushing in. I feel like this has not had the desired effect yet. There is the airstrike. Kato is just standing his ground. Just saying, yeah, I'm gonna take this one on the chin. Whoa! What an expensive haul here. And the commandos still firing from the back lines. It's still looking relatively good for Kato, even though some of his feathers have been ruffled. So not a clean sweep victory that he was hoping for. A little more expensive than one would bargain for, but ultimately it is still Kato pushing forward. And the mammoth tanks that have started popping up in return have not yet had an impact. Not at the time. Wait a sec. The army is so split, and really good micro in the backlines, getting the rocket launcher almost. Wait a second, is Kato pushing him back? Is Nudels pushing Kato back with a smaller number of forces? Right now it's starting to look increasingly like it. So with mammoth tanks you can double tap, which is one of the best ways of maximizing their damage output. Good catch on the rocket launchers. All the mobile rocket launchers have been dispatched off. Oof. 4 MRLS from Nudels still firing from the backlines, going to town on the mammoths. At the end of the day, those are general rocket launchers. Look at how much they have killed. Oof. Wait. The husks look all wrong. So one issue that we're going to be running into is that Nudels has lost his harvesters, but a secondary issue that I also wanted to highlight is that Kato is mining from a third base already, so he definitely does have the stranglehold on the economy, and that's going to be a big ticket airstrike. It's going to kill all of the infantry. There's barely any men left alive, and the commando can clean up from the back lines. Look at the range. Oh, so smart. I love what Kato is doing. One Chinook for vision. There is no real anti-air, save the mammoth. Man, I really love that choice. The Chinook can provide so much vision. Let's go into Kato's vision for the time being. Yep. I see everything. Yeah, those are the juicy targets. As soon as you can finish those off and single them out, I don't believe there's anything left standing anymore. Still though, the game is not over. Unlike my predictions. Unlike I had predicted a minute earlier. Yeah, Really good display from Kato. Gotta say, gotta hand it to the man. But also, good hold. Nudels has not been weak on the defense here. I think he might have evened up the combat even. No, it's still a 10k lead. It's actually grown to a 10k lead now. Yeah, armies, there's a little 7k discrepancy. It's looking a lot... Discrepancy is looking a lot smaller than it actually is. Objects in the mirror may... Whoa! Objects in a mirror may be way closer than they appear. The iron cannon immediately deleting half the army. Well, that's gonna put a dent in the economy graph. Yikes! Okay, one last desperate push. I feel that has to be do or die. Now that the rocket launchers have died, there's no real way at... Ooh, there was a counter iron cannon, but it didn't really have the desired effect, I feel. He needs to be so good about target firing here. Even then, I don't believe this is enough. Yeah, Mammoth tanks just waltzing forward. And they can now heal. As soon as you start the snowball of not losing Mammoth tanks, yeah, that's really bad. As soon as you start losing, as your opponent starts losing Mammoth tanks, and you don't, you can retain them and kite the wounded ones back and heal them up. That was just an unwillable situation here, I feel, for Nudels. Kato checkmating him, checkmate by Mammoth. You know, it's like if all the pieces on the board were queens, except the queens had a range of 1, so basically kings. Except if one dies, then just another one takes its place. So Hydra chess. All right. That was a really, really good display of all the GDI tech. Let's hope for some nod in game number 2. And I am hyped for the remaster graphics. This looks really, really smooth and good. And the performance? It's been really excellent thus far. No issues whatsoever. And my computer isn't even sweating. Not breaking a sweat. See you in game 2. Alright, game number 2 in our Nudels vs Kato best of 3. And you know what I just learned? The most performance intensive thing about the remastered graphics version of OpenRA Tiberian Dawn is the menu. For whatever reason, and I even disabled the map overlay. So there is no shell map. Shell map is the word, right? Yeah, and still that's the only thing that that makes my computer sweat moderately at least. Okay, let's check the tiles first. So this is an original tile. This is the crashed Orca. Oh, you know what? That is something I'm allowed to share. While we had those remastered discussions with Jim Vesela and the guys at EA. If you don't know, I was part of the remaster council back then, before the remasters got released. That was really cool. And that was a specific part of one counseling session where they asked us, this one tile or this one aircraft, what does it look like to you? Is that a UFO? Because Jim Vesela was like, yeah, some people have claimed it looks like a UFO. So kind of a foreshadowing of the screen. And people were split 50-50. Some said, yeah, it looks like a UFO. I was more in the Orca camp. I said it just looks like a crashed Orca, and look at that, vindication. Jim Vesela had taken our side, and it had become the Orca, but that hadn't really been established. So that's a little tidbit of lore from the Remaster Council. Anyway, back on track. Kato and Nudels. Oh, we've got the airstrip for Kato. Nudels must have opted for a barracks first. Yep. So that is basically a safety build. If you do this, you can A, build guard towers, and B, also just pump out an immediate APC as soon as the war factory is online, or weapons factory as it's called. That thing is cheap, 600 compared to 850 in Red Alert. Damn son. Yeah, I've stated it last week, but I'm gonna reiterate upon this. For those of you wondering why are the remaster graphics in TD but not in RA, in OpenRA version, reason being that in RA there is a couple of custom assets that would be really hard to replace. Whereas in TD, at least all the units are from the original. They've been ported over losslessly. And yeah, the most egregious example here would be the flak truck. And the problem is the flak truck is such an integral part of the gameplay. I would not want to play OpenRA without a flak truck. I'm gonna be honest here. It fits the niche so nicely. Early game light scouting harassment vehicle, and mid game anti-air, late game combination threat with Tesla tanks. It just has a role, and it is fulfilling its niche really well. And the Soviet roster would be all the poorer without that thing. Oh, this crashed A10 Warthog, by the way, is a custom asset. Today I learned. So, as we've established before, everything that is not a custom asset is gonna, or everything that is a custom asset is still gonna look like an OpenRA custom asset. No HD upgrade for that one. But those guys have received an overhaul. Look at that. The Recon bikes. Haha, nice kiting here. Still is gonna get hit with one of the rockets, yep. Scouting run has been moderately successful. He has scouted the move out of the MCV, but that is something you would expect on this map, because there is very limited starting ore. There is one blossom tree. So this is basically mandatory. Okay, bikes and buggies is the name of the game, and there is gonna be a lot of pressure onto the oil derrick. Nudels is gonna have to forfeit it. He's trying to fight for them. I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, maybe if you can single out the recons. Oh, good hits on the recons. Oh, perfect. Ha! Now there is only one single APC remaining against 0 bikes, and it's going to be allowed to bully them around as it pleases. Still in Kato's favor at the end of the day. But aggression thwarted, and the oil derrick is still up and running for Nudels. He had the earlier barracks, so he has captured his oil derrick. Yeah, 2 derricks for him. Solid. Whereas Nudels has 0. Right now, whereas Kato has 0. So right now, Nudels under a little bit of pressure to perform. Maybe he's gonna have a better time against Kato's GDI though. Is that a load up? Nope. Pips are empty. Nothing in the loading bays. Oh, he's trying to angle it in such a way that the APCs are soaking up the damage. I doubt that's gonna be enough, my friend. Ooh, again, not the best of trades in the history of trade deals. 1.3k ahead is Kato. Nudels hasn't really found an answer yet. More APCs seems to be the name of the game for now. He has tech up, and he's still building light vehicles. Curious. I mean, to be fair, tanks are not that good against the tier 0 build from Nod. Nod just has so much damage in their early game vehicles. There's a second airstrip, but there is crucially no tech yet. So that's a diversion of playstyles this time around. This time around we're not playing static anymore. Again, most of the recons have been traded off. 3 recons remaining. Oh, they walked right into a trap here. Okay. Nudels is going to be able to recuperate some of his losses, and he has retained the oil derrick. That was super close. So this 0 tech play thus far has put Nudels under a lot of pressure, but I wouldn't say on the back foot. I'm gonna check that. I'm gonna assert that claim. Yeah, he's slightly ahead actually. He's 3 derricks over 0 now, plus 5 harvesters for both. So his production is gonna start kicking in hard. Kato has relocated himself. That is a very open and wide front. So this is something you have to have super good scouting against Nod, because Nod tier 0 is like Zerg. They are just incredibly mobile. They're just gonna run all over you, all across the map, all over your bases. Look at that focus fire, beautiful. I think he only lost 1 APC there, so Nudels definitely pulling a W in this engagement. Plus he's got the better economy now, so I feel like he's gonna just start snowballing ahead. Yeah, 3k discrepancy, it's starting to stack up. Fat stacks of cash coming in here. And still just a shell base, really, for Kato. He has not invested anything into defense. It is really just all out offense. His recon bikes keep getting shaved off over and over. It's like sturdy stubbles. If you have a beard, you know what I'm talking about. You have to shave them off every 2 or 3 days. Otherwise they're gonna become unbearable, and they're gonna just become an absolute nuisance to deal with. Oh, nice tank run by. He's found a harvester and the Rickens are not really doing anything about it. They're just chilling. Ooh. Both players a bit oblivious. If Nudels had moved earlier, okay, light tanks that are starting to come in. Nudels had moved a bit earlier, I think he could have gotten the kill easily. He may still get it on the... Yeah, still getting it on the way out. Thank you, good sir. That is one dead harvester from Kato. He needs to relocate. 2 harvesters on this side. Man, this is just turning OpenRA into a whole new experience, I feel. I hope the zoom levels are good now. Also, zoom appears to be relatively smooth. Obviously, it only has those couple zooming increments that OpenRA allows. So it is not seamless zooming as in the remasters, but it is still looking quite smooth. The actual performance is amazing. Nothing short of amazing. Is there a support power ready to go? Nudels has got his airstrike up. That means, in just a couple seconds, he is gonna start blasting a hole into this army. And especially with the medium tanks and the rocket soldiers committed. Ooh, that is gonna be one hell of a dead airstrip. Engagement has not yet started, and now we're starting to enter the free fire. Oh! That light tank! Those were some sick crushes. Single-handedly smushed all the rocket soldiers to a pulp. Juicy. Well, that still did cost Kato a production facility. At the end of the day, though, I feel like he's come out ahead on top. Out on top. English is hard, okay? Especially at this time of day. Is this finally gonna be the Derek going down? We'll see. Nudels has got the airstrike up. Oh, he's just starting to angle for it. This would be the perfect angle. Coming in from this side, there would barely be any room for dodging. I think he's trying to win the engagement like this. Yeah. Missiles connecting. Recon bike's going to turn. Well, there's a bit of an oversaturation here. That was only the 3rd airstrip though, so 2 airstrips still pumping out full production remaining. Ah, that was a whiff. Man, he should have done that while the engagement was going on. Flamethrowers are being mixed in, so they're kind of lethal in this one, if you've seen that before. They can torch entire bases in a matter of seconds. They can flame shrek them. 3rd airstrip is back up online. We're gonna take a look at the econ. Wow, that is a massive difference now. And there is a counter airstrike up, but I think that's not enough to kill the heart of the army. Support powers. Oh, it is still not online. Nope, Kato still needs to wait 1.5 minutes. Is that gonna be too late? Ooh, the guard tower getting a couple good rounds of splash damage in. So what would the play here be? Taking up is not the best option. Not against Nod, who can swarm your expensive mammoth tanks. And also, there's just artillery. Look, artillery are the definition of glass cannons. They die if you look at them funny. But holy smokes do they put out some deeps. Wait, is the engineer actually repairing the Derrick? No. Don't think so. Engagement has not yet started in earnest. Artillery's though are in the perfect position. This is such a defensible position. I feel like this is a bad idea. Does Nudels have enough though? Maybe he's just gonna push on in and... Oh, the airstrike timing, it's perfect! 30 seconds, because if there were an airstrike waiting here, this would be an absolute disaster. But as it stands, I think he's found just the right timing window. Just the right 30 seconds he needed. And I feel the Conjure is now also kind of dead. Wow, what a swing here. Oh, there's the counter-aggression. That is just one harvester though. And he's not even getting the harvester. No! Not like this. Wow, General Recons. How often do we see those, huh? One down. It's not looking good. MCV dead or sold, I did kind of miss it. It was a good airstrike, but had that come a minute earlier, it would have turned the tide of battle. Because the army was really compact and he could immediately have counter-pushed. Man, what a game here. 2 swings, two hits, 2 misses. This is just players going back and forth. So this puts them at a 1-1, and there's gonna be one decisive match number 3. Let's head on over to that replay in all its HD glory. See you in a sec. And for game number 3, we are finding ourselves on a new a new ladder map that has been ported over and looks suspiciously familiar. Looks like that one 4-player map. So it's 16 by 9. Well, the resolution is different, or also the format is kind of different, but the lanes at least look almost identical, with the hospital in the middle and the oil derricks to the sides. So let's spot the tile errors. Now, honestly, I'm just super stoked that this is made possible. This has been made possible now, because who would have thought that? A little story time. I started casting OpenRA in 2015. I started playing it way before that. I think that must have been 2013, 2014 or something, like 10 years ago by now. And I accidentally had discovered it because it was a game that was freeware, and it ran on my back then shit laptop. That was basically a TI-82 calculator that was posing as a laptop, and it couldn't run any games. I tried running Dragon Age Origins, I remember, and that thing overheated so fast. I constantly had to, whenever I had it on my lap, because I would play from my lap, and it would start burning itself into my pants. It got so hot that it eventually would just crash. And it always took me like an hour in between sessions where I had to cool off my laptop. I had to put it on the window shelf to let it cool off, so I could play for another 30 minutes. And I basically had to quick save every 20 seconds, such as not to lose too much progress to crashes. I was like, okay, that's not a way of gaming anymore, because back then I was a broke student. No, that's not sustainable. I need to find a game that suits my interests, RTS or RPG, and I need one that runs on my laptop. So I was googling around, and I stumbled upon Command & Conquer, the OpenRA project, and it just became my absolute favorite pastime. I devoured hours of that game in single and multiplayer. I mean, single player was even more bare bones than it is nowadays. So it was mostly multiplayer, and it was just so awesome to see the game of my childhood reinvigorated. But I did play it on a, 16 by 9 laptop. I think the resolution was 800 by 600 or some shit, and it was absolute lunacy. And now I'm sitting here in my gaming chair in my office, casting OpenRA on an absolute beast of a 4K monitor with an insane graphics card, and it looks modernized. I couldn't be more stoked. This is just awesome. So big shout out and thanks to the OpenRA dev team as well. They have just done an absolutely stunning job. I know to some people the progress may seem glacial at times, but that is because there is so much work going on behind the scenes, and it's really hard. Oh my goodness! No way. No way. Nudels has found the vulnerability. What is Kato gonna do against that? He has nothing here. Absolutely nothing, and he has just built a harvester. That is a complete disaster. He's pulling back his buggies now, but he's gonna lose at least 2 harvesters to this push. Man, that is brutal. Yeah, cheers it goodbye. That is absolutely devastating. This early game couldn't have gone any worse if he had actively tried to lose. Yikes. So we're on, what, 2 harvesters now for Kato. Whereas Nudels is sitting comfortably at 4. He's sitting on a tech center. Mind you, he has mined out in the main base, so his build was kind of really awkward. But should be there any moment now. 10 seconds till ref. Man, that was honestly, game plan executed well for Nudels, but also just a glaring vulnerability in the build of Kato. If you move out this early on, you kind of have to. But one thing you can do, you can take a not so greedy second expansion. You basically deploy your MCV here. Then you can't reach this ore node just yet, or this tip node just yet. But what you can do is you can build field defenses, and you would have needed those. needless to say. So yeah. Yeah, what I wanted to say with the aforementioned tangent was just, you know, life's good sometimes. Even though it's crazy stressful, but yeah, life's good. It's looking quite chill here. Conscript number 3 is also very close to being ready from the cloning vats. That is going to be an exciting time ahead as well. So, Nudels is sitting back now, just maxing out. He knows he is super far ahead. He's probably got the time to build a second airstrip now. And for Kato, it is barrack spam. The way you come back into this is let your opponent overcommit into your base with a lot of infantry. Because infantry are very good on the defense if they're in the right spot. They're very cost efficient and they can ward off. In numbers, they can ward off so overwhelming armies with ease. Until the airstrike comes in. And then, yeah, then it's game over. But let's see how this develops. Nudels has got the comm center and is almost on half a charge for the airstrike. Kato is building his own comm center. Does he have he has a second airstrip now. Back up to 6 harvesters. Probably not the best time for a push here. Immediate reaction from Kato. That was not even close. Nudel is gonna start losing tanks here, just one of them for now. But he's pulled the turret, so it's all fine. His standing army is actually not that large yet, but it's about to explode in a couple of minutes. He's got some really good harvester saturation. That is 6 as well. Nobody has taken or laid claim to the derricks yet, that's interesting. That is not super standard build orders. Kato is now on his own tech center, but are we gonna be seeing tier 3? I would like to see a tier 3 nod mirror. Especially in low econ, you can pull off some crazy comebacks with good stealth tank play, chem warrior drops, stuff like that. There's some good options that Nod has. The Brotherhood of Nod. Again, I see this question pop up in the Command & Conquer subreddit time and again. Oh, Harvester down here, yep. Nice, not overcommitting, pulling back. Not losing too many units for that. That one question, why is Nod it's not spelled N-O-D with capitals? It's because it's not an acronym. It is actually a biblical reference. For those of you who don't know, this is the promised land of Nod from the Bible. And Cain himself is kind of positioning himself as the new Messiah, so that kind of fits the overall theme. Oh, look at the army, look at the map state. It's looking quite good for Nudels. Yeah, just a little history lesson there. Or science fiction lesson, if you will. Kappa Pride. Not going to try and ruffle too many feathers here, but yeah, science fiction lesson. Alrighty. Kato, man, off the back of this one oversight, just the gap in the fence and the army being out of position. Are we gonna be seeing round 2? This time around, he has not left anything to chance. This is a fairly defensible position. This depends on the focus fire. Yeah. No ground to be gained here. But at the end of the day, it's just 2 tanks for a tank and a recon. That's whatever. That is relatively irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. Kato is building 3 light tanks at once. And Nudels is building 2 light tanks as well as more barracks. He does not have barracks just yet. That's his first. He also has taken his 4th base, and he's got an option to take the 5th. He just builds... doesn't even need a power plant here. Can just go for 1 more. Ooh, we're gonna take a look at the infograph for the armies. Are you ready? I'm gonna cover my eyes for a little, because that's gonna be a bit brutal. Closer than I thought. Wait. How is Kato ahead in army? I am speechless. This was the dip when the push happened. Huh. He actually has not only recovered, but surpassed him. MCV is now out and ready. Kato again in a good position, because the infantry are trickling in here. Ooh, and they're getting caught off guard. That's a lot of freebies. Really good play thus far from Kato. Is this gonna be the comeback? He's also building a con yard, so the siege is definitely on. This is gonna be a classic base push scenario. The good old, good old. Needs a couple artilleries to complement his army. But for the time being, oh my goodness, that's gonna be a brutal airstrike. Oh, all the infantry being taken care of. Yikes on trikes. There is no more anti-infantry firepower left here. He's trying to brute force it without crushing. Kato, what are you doing? My man, now the crushes are coming in. Mass barracks, this is actually so cost efficient for Nudels. And the tanks have just been waiting in ambush, they're now ready to go. More rocket soldiers are starting to appear though. So it all depends on the focus fire. I'm gonna highlight the health bars. It is starting to look like there's gonna be a hold. Oh my goodness, Nudels, is he actually doing it? He is overrunning from the defensive position. Kato calling GG. Yeah, all the tanks had survived. What a game here, what a comeback. So Nudels definitely playing it defensively from behind and transitioning into infantry just at the right time, just as the push came in. Also the airstrike definitely helped. Kato's airstrike hasn't been that impactful earlier. Yeah, that was an insane series. And I'm just stoked for the future of OpenRA, reminiscing the 10-year anniversary of myself starting to dive into OpenRA in the competitive community. Yeah, by the way, I really want to get into organizing tournaments again. That was such a boatload of fun. But unfortunately, for the time being, I still have no time to stream. My caster colleague, Mr. Caution, has, by the way, proposed another tournament, and the prize pool is, I think, $50, so sign up for that. And we're gonna be back with more TD. Folks, send TD or play on the TD ladder servers, because we want more of that. Look at that gorgeous tile. That is just a nice unification, a nice melding of a nice blend of OpenRA and the remastered graphics. That just speaks for the project. Made with a lot of love, even though some things may stick out sometimes. So, that was awesome. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. 5 Aces out.